We'll continue to work with a range of governors across the country.
Under the Trump administration, it was not set up this way. My understanding is under the Trump administration, Vice President Pence was doing these weekly calls, and this has been a shift to go from Pence to somebody like Governor Cuomo at this point. So I'm wondering if perhaps the White House wants to shift it back towards the White House or away from the NGA, which happens to be led by a governor who has a lot of things going on in the state at the moment.
Well, one of the reasons that it's been set up to engage directly with governors is that there were operational aspects of the way the last administration approached COVID and approached COVID, the distribution of vaccines, or approached planning and engagement with governors that wasn't working. They didn't feel they had the information they needed. They didn't know when they were getting vaccine supply. And our effort was to work much more directly in a range of means, in a range of ways, up and down the ranks in these states to ensure that we were addressing the local needs as they came up. So I'm not aware of any plan to shift that approach.
Comfortable with Cuomo essentially leading these weekly calls?
Again, this is up to, I think he's in that position because he is head of the NGA, and it's up to the NGA to determine if that's where they want to see things moving forward.
Just quickly on immigration, given the FEMA deployment to the border, I wanted to see if the administration is going to ask Congress for any additional emergency money to secure the border or fund resources to house or provide additional care for children who are there.
The problems is there's an immigration bill that we've certainly proposed that we hope that members of both parties will take seriously and engage in a constructive conversation about. The issues and challenges we're facing are not solely about funding at all, but I'm not aware of additional requests for immediate funding. I'm happy to check on that as well.
And then one absolute last question about this is related to some appointments at the Department of Justice. Mm-hmm. My colleague Nancy Cook of Bloomberg News wrote a story last week, I believe, noting that liberal groups are growing concerned that there are a number of attorneys who are being appointed to top positions who have a background of defending large companies, including connections to Apple and Facebook. And these groups are asking that some of these attorneys recuse themselves in matters of antitrust matters. I'm just wondering if the administration or the White House shares that concern and is considering asking them to recuse themselves on some of these larger big tech antitrust matters that will be coming up, presumably.
I'd have to look at it more closely. It may be a decision for the Department of Justice to make, but I will look more closely and see if we have a view from the White House about recusals.
Thanks.
Go ahead.
Thank you.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. Go ahead in the back.
Thank you very much, Jen. Quick follow-up on the border. Does President Biden plan to visit the border?
I don't have any trips to preview for you at this point in time. If we do, we will certainly preview them.
Something he's considering or talking about?
I don't have anything to preview for you.
Okay, going back to the vaccine. I know you say the goal is to vaccinate Americans first, but I want to go back to the AstraZeneca supply sitting here in the U.S. without approval. Mm-hmm. Many countries are seeking. Brazil is also seeking access to the supply. Brazil is in urgent need. Scientists around the world are saying that Brazil is a threat to the world right now, the situation there, the crisis there. Dr. Fauci said last week that the most important thing to do in Brazil is to get more people vaccinated as soon as possible. But Brazil is struggling. So